welcome to Lesson 8 of the Special Operations Candidate course. My name is Matt. I'm the founder and lead instructor here at the Special Operations Training Foundation. And in this lesson we're going to talk about public service and define that more in depth, just like we did with high risk previously. So let's talk about, first things first, what is public service? We're going to define public service as something that supports what I call the fundamental human freedoms, or FHFs. And those are life, liberty, and freedom from harm. Okay? And we kind of wrap these things up as kind of integrate them into what we call the American way of life, because that's typically how we expect to be treated and how we expect to have certain freedoms here in this country. Obviously, it's not just an American thing. There are plenty of other places around the world that believe in the same freedoms as far as human freedoms. Now, in support of those, you have particular groups of professions. For example, you have public justice. You have judges and lawyers that serve there in the interest of public justice. You have doctors and nurses that serve in the interest of public health. You have teachers or professors that serve in the interest of public education. I understand, by the way, public education is not directly necessarily associated with these, but it does support the advancement of society as a whole, and it does kind of fit in here. And you have politicians that serve in the public interest as far as representing them as a form of government. Now, before we talk about whether this creates special operations careers or not, we're going to talk about pay. Pay is irrelevant. It's not completely irrelevant, but I want to make a distinction here. Doctors and lawyers are often paid people, right? Some doctors and some lawyers may choose to give services away, but most of the time they get into those career fields often because of the large amounts of money that they get paid to do so. I'm not going to say they're all like that. They definitely aren't. But that is the stereotypical reason to get into those fields besides just doing it, just to make a difference. So there's kind of a couple different types of people there. But we could probably agree that most doctors and lawyers are on a paid basis. Now, they serve the interest of public health and public justice. Now, the Red Cross, on the other hand, is a volunteer organization. They serve the interest of public health as well, normally get involved especially with matters when it comes to health or even humanitarian aid, and they are strictly volunteers, so they don't get paid whatsoever. So obviously, it doesn't matter whether you get paid or not to serve in public service. And to be honest with you, some of the more difficult forms of service are done in these areas, but on a volunteer basis, because people have to kind of come up with their own way of making a living in addition to what it is they're doing, because they're kind of giving their time away. So let's talk about summing it all up. Are these, not these categories, but are these particular professions special operations? No, they're not, okay? They are definitely completely in the interest of public service. Judges and lawyers, doctors and nurses, teachers and professors. I don't think there's any doubt there. These are not normally professions which you get into without having an interest in public service. However, because they are missing the high-risk component that we talked about in the last lesson and the lesson before, we are not going to consider them special operations. That's pretty much all there is to this one. What we're going to see in the next lesson is that how when you add high risk to public service, you end up with special operations careers, and we'll talk about some examples of those. Obviously, you can contact us using all the means that are available at the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and visit the website at sotfoundation.org.